So, I am going to start a class on evolution. So, the weightage for this chapter for evolution, out of 90 questions you can expect 4. Okay. So, on an average 4 questions are asked in each paper, and it is 4 into 4, 16 marks. In this 4, so I am going to, as I told you, I am going to start evolution. It is a very interesting and lovable topic because you would like to learn nothing in the light of evolution. Okay. So, scientists used to say every talk will be conducted only in the light of evolution. That is why it is very significant, and then the number of questions in general on an average asked is 4 questions. So, 4 into 4, 16 marks. Okay. So, in this 4 marks, mostly the weightage is given for analogous, homologous organs, analogous, homologous organs. One question you can expect from this category. Then the theories of evolution, Darwinism, Lamarckism, Haeckel's theory. So, from theories of evolution, we can anticipate one question from theories of evolution. Then the evolution of man is a sure question. Evolution of man, we can expect evolution of man as a very important question. And apart from that, evolution of horse, elephant, then geological time scale, plants, then prokaryotic evolution can be from this category. Only one question will come, one sure question from analogous and homologous organs, and another question definitely you can anticipate from evolution of human. Then one another question can be anything. It can be evolution of horse, or it can be evolution of elephant, or geological time scale, or even evolution of plants and prokaryotic life. Now, let us focus on the evolution of earth. From evolution of earth we will start. So, in evolution it is first, as I told you, we are going to talk about evolution of life, prokaryotic, primitive life. So, it is going to be primitive life, and after primitive life we are going to talk about evolution of various creatures, both plant and animals. And in a brief way, we are going to even talk about the geological time scale, and extinctions, 6 mass extinctions. And finally, we are going to also talk about the very interesting evolution of man. Okay. Now, we will begin our talk with how the primitive life started in this earth. Before that, we have to understand the evolution of earth itself. So, evolution of earth started with evolution of the solar system. So, solar system, if you believe that from solar system only earth has formed. So, solar system, Big Bang theory by Lemaitre is of significant. It needs a mention. Okay, we have to mention. Without mentioning Lemaitre's Big Bang, we cannot go ahead. Okay. So, Big Bang by Lemaitre is the one which formed the solar system and sun and its planets, along with the moons as well. So, this Big Bang is very significant because this happened around 11 to 20 billion years ago, and we say our earth is 4.5 billion years. So, from 11 to 20 billion years ago, the solar system was formed, and from the solar system our earth was formed around 4.5 billion years ago. And that time the earth was not so conducive for life to form. It was all very hot. So before that, I would give you an understanding about how the solar system is. So the sun, and here we have Mercury, Venus, and our third planet Earth, and the fourth planet Mars, and beyond this we call it a snow line. So we cannot expect life and we cannot expect organisms beyond snow line. Never mind what are the planets beyond snow line. So we cannot expect any life in beyond snow line, that is after Jupiter onwards. There cannot be, the planets cannot sustain life. Okay, so we are, if this is sun, so planets too close to sun and planets too far away from sun cannot. Okay, so planets very close to sun and planets far away from sun cannot sustain life. Planets in the habitable zone will only, we have two planets which are in the habitable zone. These two planets which are in the habitable zone are only two in number, that is Earth and Mars. Okay, so the habitable zone, we called it as Goldilocks zone, habitable zone or Goldilocks zone. So we can expect life only in these two planets, that is Earth and Mars. Okay, so Earth and Mars are neither too close to sun nor far away from the sun. That is why we would say that life is possible only in these two planets. And no wonder India also is venturing through Mangalyaan or Mars orbiter mission to Mars and aiming that there would be life in this planet Mars. Okay, so now let us focus on the habitable zone, the so-called habitable zone, which is Earth. So we now come to an understanding now that Mars did not have life. The only planet which has life in this solar system is only Earth. Now we will focus on Earth now. Earth is 4.5 billion years ago, 4.5 billion years old. But however, the life started only 1 billion year later. Okay, so the life started only 1 billion year later and much beyond. So from 4.5 to 3.5, nearly 1 billion year passed out without any life in this planet. It was all blank and there was no life because it was very hot, volcanic eruptions were there, then the atmosphere was not formed, it had all toxic gases, thereby you cannot expect life in this planet for nearly 1 billion year. From 4.5 to 5.5 we cannot expect life in this planet. So it took a long time for 1 billion year till the Earth rotated around itself and revolved around the sun and cooled down. When it cooled down, then around 3.5 billion years ago they formed the life. And here the first life could be, we call it as protobiont. Primitive life, we call it as primitive life or before life. Then before that we call it as colloidal aggregates were formed. The colloidal aggregates were called as co-acervates. So from co-acervates then protobiont was formed, and from protobiont eobiont was formed. The co-acervates are colloidal aggregates. So as such they are primitive before life. So then protobiont was formed, and around eobiont there could be a nucleoprotein was formed. So this is the precursor of life. We can call it as precursor of the first cell. Precursor of the first cell. This could be the precursor of the first cell, then the first prokaryote formed. So we have evidence from Australia where we call it as stromatolites was found in the mountains of Australia, which dates back to 3.7 billion years. So it is in fact much ahead of this. This life is expected only around 3.5, but we have evidence to say that the life was there around 3.57 billion years ago in Australian mountains, which we call today as stromatolites. So let us now see the sequence of life in this planet. So the colloidal aggregates or coacervates were formed, and from the coacervates, here and there the molecules started aggregating together, and then it formed the coacervates. So before that we have to understand about the kind of atmosphere it was. So it was all hot, volcanic eruptions, cosmic radiation, and much more was there, and then Earth's heavier elements settled in the inner core of the planet. So the inner core was occupying the heavy elements like nickel, iron and all that. The lighter elements started floating. So we find Earth's crust, lighter elements in the Earth's crust, and in the atmosphere the much lighter elements started floating in the atmosphere. So atmosphere formation is crucial because this is the one which is going to recycle various minerals and water. So we need, so for life to form, two factors are very important. One is oxygen, another one is water. Only if both are present, both oxygen and water is present, then only we can call it as a habitable planet. So habitable planet will have these two features. Mars neither has oxygen. Maybe they say that there are traces of water, not immediate. It was found in the previous times. So oxygen is atmosphere with oxygen is missing in Mars. So that is an atmosphere with more enriched nitrogen. So here early atmosphere had all the toxic gases. There was no oxygen. There was no oxygen and all was built up only during Proterozoic era. Proterozoic era. So let us now see how this the sequence of reactions take place. So once the lighter elements started occupying the surface, Earth's crust, then the much lighter elements started floating and formed the various layers of atmosphere. The layers of atmospheres, like you say, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, then thermosphere, and then of course exosphere, which merges with the space. Out of this, what is very significant for life to form is this layer, stratosphere, because here is where we have ozone layer. The ozone layer protects us from ultraviolet radiation. So this ozone layer was formed within a stratospheric layer. So wherein we have this protection from ultraviolet radiation, and also that we are banking on one another layer of atmosphere for our telecommunication, the ionosphere. Okay, so the lighter elements started forming the surface, and the inner core occupies the heavier elements like iron, nickel and everything. So now let us focus. Now the Earth is ready for life to start. So now the atmosphere is formed, oxygen is formed. So oxygen was formed during the Proterozoic era by the various we call it as primitive organisms. Let us see what are the primitive organisms. Earlier it would be only the chemoautotrophs. After this, the first so-called prokaryote will be chemoautotrophs, chemoheterotrophs first, because these chemoheterotrophs would have been the first organism to take in the toxic gases. So from chemoheterotroph, slowly autotrophs formed. So we have cyanobacteria formation, but this one stromatolite is a cyanobacterial fossil. So we come to an understanding that first formed as chemoheterotroph, and then formed as only the later heterotrophs and autotrophs. So the coacervates are colloidal aggregates. So the molecules aggregated together and then they formed colloids, and this colloid started increasing in size, started taking the nutrients from the surrounding, and then it started increasing in size, and then we formed it formed the first protobiont or prior to cell. We call it as prior to cell, and the first eobiont, it is almost close to a cell. Then it formed the chemoheterotrophs first. The chemoheterotrophs was followed by autotrophic bacteria. Then at autotrophic bacteria was formed, autotrophic prokaryotes were formed, and slowly it moved to the formation of eukaryote much later. It nearly took another 0.7 billion years. So first eukaryote was expected around 3 billion years. The first eukaryote formed around 3 billion years. So now let us see the sequence of reactions as we have discussed. Now we understood how the earth evolved and how the various elements started occupying the center, started floating in the last layers, and then the atmosphere formed, and the atmosphere, which is crucial for recycling of minerals and water, is formed, and then we can expect that life was formed after Proterozoic era, because Proterozoic era is very crucial, because this is the one which is responsible for oxygen build-up in this earth. If there is no oxygen build-up, there could not be any aerobic organisms, because initially chemoheterotrophs was formed, then slowly autotrophic organisms were formed. Once autotrophic organisms were formed, slowly the earth started diverging in aerobic organisms. So from anaerobes we have started diverging to aerobic organisms, and today we have nearly 1.8 to 1.9 billion species in this planet. So we have attained this feat. 1.8 to 1.9 billion species are present on this earth. So it is because of the diversity. The reason is the earth was conducive for the life to flourish. So this is an insight about the evolution of earth. Now let us start the evolution of organisms in this planet. So here we have the Precambrian era, which was divided into Hadean, where there was no life. Then we call it as important Proterozoic era. So here is where oxygen started evolving in this planet, and from here on, this is the one which occupied nearly 86% of the geological time. Okay, the Precambrian era is the one which occupied nearly 86% of the geological time. After the Proterozoic era, only 11% of the geological period was occupied by these three eras, which we call it as Archaeozoic, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic, and the recent era, which we call it as Cenozoic era. So the Paleozoic era flourished with fishes. So this Paleozoic era, again it is divided into Mississippian, Pennsylvanian, we call golden age of fishes. Golden age of fishes belong to this, golden age of fish belong to this category, where we call it as Paleozoic era, in which we talk about an epoch, Mississippian, Pennsylvanian. Mississippian, Pennsylvanian, then the golden age is Silurian, Devonian era. Silurian, Devonian. So from question point of view, this question is repeated many a times. What they have asked is, which one of the following is a golden age of fish? So the choice is given to you, which one of the following is a golden age of fish? The choice given to you would be Silurian, Devonian, which is the right answer. Then Pennsylvanian and Mississippian is not the right answer. So we have to understand that Silurian, Devonian era will be the right answer. If a question like, what is the golden age of fish? Which one of the following is the golden age of fish is asked, then this will be the right answer, the Silurian, Devonian era. Now let us go for the medieval era, which we call it as Mesozoic era. The Mesozoic era will have the important, we call it as Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. 65 to 215 million years ago. So here Triassic era, Jurassic era and Cretaceous era. This is where we call it as golden age of reptiles. So from the exam point of view, what is asked is, which one of the following is a golden age of reptiles? So the answer would be rightly, the golden age of reptiles would be, the answer is going to be the Mesozoic era. In specific, out of the Mesozoic, which is very significant is those two, that is Jurassic and Triassic than Cretaceous, because Cretaceous had extinctions, because we discussed about 6 mass extinctions. One of the extinctions happened in Cretaceous times. So out of the 6 mass extinction, we also undergo extinction now also, wherein to recent, we call it as recent times. In even recent times or Cenozoic era also we have extinction, and this extinction we call it as wherein the mammals are becoming extinct. Every minute we are losing a mammal. Okay. So likewise, the worst of all extinctions, one of the questions asked in Neet was, which one of the following is the worst of all extinctions, wherein it erased nearly 80% of species in this world. So I repeat the question, which one of the following is the worst extinction, which erased 80% of the population, 80% of species, which erased 80% of species. So answer for this question would be, Permian extinction. Okay.